Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Rebecca, and today I am here to share with you my experience with seed cycling. Now, if you are unfamiliar with what seed cycling is, it is basically rotating 4 different seeds in order to help you balance your hormones. And you can search lots of resources to find out like all the ins and outs of it, but basically what you do is the first half of your cycle, so from day 1 of your period to when you ovulate, you do 1 tablespoon of flax and 1 tablespoon of pumpkin every single day. And then from the time that you ovulate till your next period starts again, you'll do 1 tablespoon of sunflower seeds and then 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds. So I'm going to share with you in this video a few ways that I like to do it to make it super easy and, actually be able to do it, because sometimes it's like, how can I get all these seeds into my nutrition? So I'm going to share with you my favorite ways of doing it, and I'm going to share with you what the results are from me doing it for 3 months. So I was really, really excited to create this video because I had some really good results, and then I didn't. So I'll get into that. First, let me tell you why I chose to do seed cycling in the first place. Basically, it is to balance my hormones. I have mentioned that before about balancing hormones, talking about thyroid issues and stuff if you've been around my channel. And I've also mentioned that if one is off, then they're all off. And they all work together. And the reason that one is off is because another one is off and because something else is off, and it can be complicated, to be quite honest with you. But I decided to do it because I wanted to, number one, see if it was effective or not. Because on a scientific note, the different seeds, help to either promote or detoxify certain hormones throughout the month, which is important because we have fluctuating hormones throughout the month, and we do really want to support our bodies, as the month goes on. So, I also look for natural things. I don't want to take medication, although I do take medication for my thyroid. And so I just wanted to get my supplements basically from food too. I did track months and months ago. I tracked my nutrition in an app called Chronometer, I believe, that actually showed the vitamin level and mineral level of everything that I was eating. But I will tell you, it's not 100% accurate, because like if you scanned something, it would not actually show you what's in there. It would only show you what either was on the box or something else, because it doesn't show you everything on the nutrition label. So it wasn't really like 100% accurate. I had to like go back and change things and whatever. But I did end up finding out that like I needed, extra B vitamins. I could have used a little bit more magnesium. I needed, what was the other one? Vitamin D, a fish oil could have been helpful. So anyway, I started taking those vitamins too, just to make sure, because I don't want to just take stuff to take stuff. I want to take it because like I know that I need it. But first and foremost, I like getting it in my food first. If I can't get it in my food, and I was eating like, pretty gosh darn healthy, you know what I mean? I'm not into like a perfect diet. I think nutrition is important. I think good nutrition is important, but perfect nutrition is not. So I decided to do that to help balance my hormones, and especially my reproductive hormones, because we have tried to have a child for almost 5 years. I am fortunate to have Taylor, who is turning 10 in just a couple of days. Actually, she's turning 10 today on the day the video is coming out. So happy birthday to Taylor. And we never wanted to have kids like, very close in age. I just knew myself and knew like my own stress level and what I was willing to do. And I also wanted to just have a few years apart, so like they would each get like individual time, if that makes sense. Like one would get it more at the beginning, one later on, like high school and stuff. So we did try, and it just never happened. And I went to like my normal doctors and stuff, and they tell you like, oh, I mentioned it, and they're like, oh, well, if you try, then, like after a year of trying, then, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll wait. And I kind of like just, it's like if it happens, it happens, it's meant to be. And then it was just like, okay, like she's almost 10. It hasn't happened. Like, what's going on? And so it was never one of those things where like I thought I was tracking properly, to be honest with you, like tracking my cycle and knew like when things were happening, but I wasn't. I didn't really know. Like now like I know, because actually for the last probably year I've been like tracking in my like health app on my phone, but in the last 6 months, actually five, there's 5 cycles, so like 5 or 6 months, I've been tracking in natural cycles. I absolutely love this app. I literally take my temperature every single morning. Like, when you think like all the stuff that you have to do, you're like, I will never do that, that seems like too much. You do it and don't even think about it, and I just like roll over in bed and pop the thing in my mouth, and it's like, okay. So I take my temperature every morning. I take LH tests, so like I know when I'm ovulating. I know all the things. One thing I like to mention too, like another reason I wanted to really focus on balancing my hormones, is because I was experiencing spotting, like every single period for like a couple years, and I'm like, what the heck? And then to me, I'm thinking, well, it's because I'm over 35, I'm old, and reproductive years. That's what they tell you anyway, and just changes happen, and whatever. And so I decided to start the seed cycling to balance the hormones, and I did it for like 60 days, and it was awesome. Like, honestly, like my moods were a little bit better, because that was something else that I experienced. It was like irritability around ovulation. It was like ovulation was like a whole thing for me. Like at that time, like it wasn't even my period that was the problem. It was like the ovulation period of ovulation that was like, I was starting to notice things I had never noticed before. And so I did have improvements in that. But just a few days ago, I freaking spotted again. And I'm like so bummed out about it, because number one, I am the type of person who kind of like, I like to kind of go through things on my own, figure things out, then talk about it, then share about it. That's why, like, even with my weight loss journey, I like wanted to talk about it, but I really didn't want to talk about it, if that makes sense. And so like I never shared that here, except for like a 12-week little like mini cut thing that I did in the fall of last year. And so it was like, when I'm in the thick of it, it's hard for me to like share and talk about it. I actually recently learned that it's like a Scorpio rising thing. So if you're into astrology, it's just like kind of how I am, I guess. Which I thought honestly is kind of cool, because I'm like, okay, it's just who I am. Sometimes I need outside affirmation of who I am. Anyway, that's for another note. But anyway, so bummed out because number one, I couldn't say, oh my god, for 3 whole months it worked, because I was feeling so excited that like my moods were better. There was no spotting, and even my period like went from like a 34 to 35 day average down to 31, so that was cool. Because what my like fertility doctor has said is like, basically there's nothing wrong, but it could be like pre-menopause, basically. It's like the only logical explanation she could give without like dissecting me, which I don't want. I seriously, like, I will in a future video talk more about this, because there's really a lot to it. Today I just really want to talk about the seed cycling aspect, because there's a lot more to what I've actually tried and what I've been doing. But for the last 90 days, it was like that was the one thing I focused on, and I didn't change anything else outside of that. And I can talk about like things I changed previously or whatever. But anyway, so I was getting improvements, and then literally the other day I'm at the pool, and I'm like, are you kidding? And then what's annoying even more is like, not only did it happen once, but it's now at the 4th day, which my app told me like, we think that you're having an ovulatory cycle, which means that you did not produce an egg. And what bums me out even more about that is that Chris and I decided a while ago, probably about a year ago. I mean, it's been honestly since this, it's been like an up and down where it's like, okay, maybe we will, maybe we won't, maybe we will, maybe we won't, maybe we will. It's been like this up and down roller coaster because honestly, I don't want to try and then fail and then have to deal with that. And again, that's for another video. Like this will be really long, so I'm not gonna like go into it just yet because I want this to be about seed cycling. But anyway, the other thing that was really bummed me out is that we are, you know, on vacation, and that's was going to be like our last hurrah, if that makes sense. And so like we are going to try because I know I'm going to be ovulating, and I know like, you know, it'll be a good time, and like, you know, it can happen. So when I have now knowing that I'm having an ovulatory cycle, it's like, okay, so then I'm not even saying going to happen. Like it can't even happen before I try. This is our last try, and like not even going to happen. So that's frustrating, but we're going to give it a few more months and see. And you know what? Even though the seed cycling, like I spotted this month, or, you know, had an ovulatory, I'm not going to stop doing it because there's more to it than just seed cycling, but there are improvements. Like nutrition is important for overall health, but definitely for reproductive systems. I mean, honestly, it's for all health. Like even if you think like look up the healthy diet for X, Y, and Z is going to show up there. Like have nuts and seeds in your diet. Like every type of diet that there is to help serve something in your body has nuts and seeds. They are super nutritious, high in, you know, not only fiber, fat, and protein, but minerals and vitamins and all kinds of things. So anyway, I had a good experience overall with it, and I actually find it to be like easy to get in, and not to mention like forget the, you know, for fertility stuff like I just mentioned, it's just for overall general health. So I'm definitely not going to stop doing it because it didn't work. And guess what, even after 90 days I had good success for the first 60 days. Other things went on during that 30-day period, like the last 30-day period, really the last like 2-week period, that I think has made more of a difference in that. And so I'll talk about that in another video, but I'm going to share with you now just a few of my easy, quick, favorite ways to get my seeds in. So a great way to get nuts and seeds in is actually throwing them in salad. So this salad here has spring mix, tomato, onion, cucumber, radishes, albacore tuna, and then I just sprinkled in some pumpkin seeds. You could also use sunflower seeds, hemp hearts. You could do, you know, pecans, walnuts, sliced almonds, peanuts, cashews, even pistachios. Any sort of nut will do. And the best thing is to just rotate them. Both of them are the same, but I do love doing a beet salad with walnuts and beets and onion and feta cheese with like chicken or tuna. So good. Made like a chia egg and a flax egg because I've honestly never done this before, and it calls for 2 eggs, and I figure we're just going to get a variety of seeds, and this is just a great way to get your seeds in. Now this is not necessarily what I would do for like the hormone balancing part, because you really want a whole tablespoon every day, and we're only going to put 1 whole tablespoon of the flax in, but it's still a great way just to get in the healthy nuts and seeds for just everyday health and lowering inflammation. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I'm glad that I can really share it, because honestly hardly anyone knows about this, because I just keep things to myself until I've went through them, and I'm not through it, and I don't know if I'm going to end up having a child or not. But anyway, I just want to be healthy, and I'm doing what I need to do that. And while I have a active reproductive system, that's part of general health. So anyway, tell me your thoughts. Tell me if you seed cycle, and just yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you like the ideas. And I appreciate you so much taking time out of your day to watch my videos. And like I always say, please go do something good for yourself, because you're number one. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.